Hi everyone, welcome back to Study Knits. My name's Allie. I'm a fourth year medical student in the US, and this is my channel where I talk incessantly about knitting. This is podcast number 15. It hasn't been that long since I recorded a podcast, but I have a new exciting cast on that I wanted to talk about and some updates to my other WIPs that I'm working on. I also kind of wanted to film a podcast video because I have some exciting life updates since the last time we talked, which was only like 2 weeks ago. But we found an apartment in New York and we're moving pretty soon, so this should be the last time that I film in this location. We're already in the process of moving, if you can't tell by the fact that there's absolutely nothing on the walls behind me and there's usually a bunch of things on the walls. So we're in the process of moving. This will probably be my last time filming here. So the next time I film will be in my new place, which is so exciting. I've not had a apartment that's my own in like a year now, so I'm excited to have a home. Very exciting. That's the only exciting thing I wanted to talk about. Just moving is stressful. I follow a standard podcast style, talking about finished objects and then works in progress and then acquisitions, then future plans, media review, all of that. I don't have any finished objects today. I have some that are like close to being finished objects, but they're not quite there. And I have 4 WIPs, the same 3 from last time, and then a new one. I have one acquisition, a little trinket, if you will, and then some other things to chat about. So yeah, let's just hop in. First, I'll tell you about what I'm wearing. This is my sweater number 26 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I finished this earlier this year. I knit it using the yarn's called Sur Naturel. It's from La Droguerie, which is a yarn store in Paris. I bought it when I went to Paris with my mom earlier this year. So this is a very special yarn. This is their color Bleu Marine, or navy blue. And I held it double. I absolutely love this sweater. It's kind of a chilly spring day here. It's kind of like 50s, low 60s. So this was the perfect thing to put on. I went out for lunch earlier today and wore this, and it was incredible. One of my favorite things that I've finished recently, maybe ever. I love this. Oh, also one other thing. I think the next video I record, I'm gonna do kind of like a Q&A / like my 1 year YouTube anniversary, my tubeversary, tubeversary. I don't know. I've been on YouTube for like a little over a year and just realized that recently I let my anniversary pass, but that's fine. I have had a lot going on. So I'm gonna do a Q&A for my next video. So I'll post a little like Q&A box in my Instagram story at some point. Or you can just DM me any questions you have that you want me to answer, or leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them in a video. I'm gonna go through my WIPs. Like I said, I have no finished objects. I'm gonna go through my WIPs in order of how much they excite me and how much I'm excited about them. So starting off strong with my newest cast on, this is my Moby Sweater by Petite Knit. I finished the front and the back, and I've done about that much in the round so far. Also, my dog, Mary Jane, is sitting right next to me. I don't know how much of her you can see, but she's currently burrowed under this blanket. So if the blanket's moving, don't be alarmed. It's my dog. She'll probably come out and say hi at some point. Where was I? Moby Sweater by Petite Knit. I'm using Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the color Limestone. Yes, this color. I think it's coming through well. If you watched my, I talked about this last week in my sort of like summer yarn haul, my like acquisitions part of my most previous podcast. That was just a separate video. But my mom requested this sweater. This is for my mom. And she requested a cable knit sweater for our trip to Maine, which is coming up. So I'm on a time crunch. And she helped me pick out the pattern and the yarn. And she picked the Moby Sweater, which is a pattern I've been really itching to make for like since it came out, but just have never gotten around to. So I'm really glad that I'm making this for her. I've sent her pictures of it. She's really happy with it so far. So I think she's gonna love it. Like I said, though, I am on a time crunch. I feel confident that I'll be able to get it done. It's not that extreme of a time crunch. I am moving though. So we'll see, but I'm just gonna do my best, and that's that's it. I'm using a 4mm needle for this, and I'm knitting a size medium-ish. I'll get to that later. But yeah, just from the top notes that I've written down so far, I had some confusion with swatching. I feel like her instructions weren't super clear about what the swatch should include, so I ended up swatching, I don't know where my swatch is, but about this much of the pattern, and then I wasn't really sure how to measure the swatch. So since there's a bunch of different textures in it, so I basically just took a bunch of different measurements at different points of the different like sections of the swatch and just took the average, and it was pretty much spot on with the gauge. I want to say it was like 19.5 stitches and the gauge is 20 stitches. My iPad never keeps me logged into Ravelry for some reason. Like it just never does. I was so right. The gauge is 20 stitches and mine was 19.5. So I said good enough. So far, it's been really fun to knit. This is my first all over cable sweater. I've knit all over cabled vest before, the Lana vest by Irene Lynn. I made that earlier this year and really enjoyed the all over cables. And I'm really enjoying the all over cables of this as well. I started this about a week ago, I want to say. I didn't have a ton of time over the weekend to work on it. Had some events going on. Overall, I'm really enjoying it. I've been posting a lot about it on my Instagram story, and somebody DM'd me and were like, you're so fast. Like, how are you so fast knitting it? And I don't feel like I'm like that fast, but I am right now like a full-time stay-at-home dog mom. Like I truly have nothing to do but just like get up, take care of the dog, go work out, and then I like knit. So that's, I feel like, how I'm able to get a lot done. But and I am on a time crunch with this. So there's that. I've messed up not a ton, for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, it's difficult. These like cables, these like fake cables, because they're not real, they're not actually done with like a cabling technique. They're interesting, and I've been accidentally dropping some stitches, forgetting to cable a couple of times, and I've realized a bit too late to go back and fix it in some places. So some of them look a little squirrely, and that's because I'm messed up a lot. I think there's about 4 or 5 places that I've messed up on the little lattice. I wish I had my swatch. Let me go see if I can find my swatch really fast, and then I'll talk about it. I found my swatch, didn't take that long. Yeah, here, okay, so this is the swatch that I made. I did some of the moss stitch, I did the real cable, and then I did the little lattice mock cables, is I think what she calls them. This line, the second line of crisscross is the second diamond right here. I did it using an actual cable technique where you flip the stitches around and then knit them instead of her mock cable. And I didn't like it as much. I thought I would like it more, but I feel like the mock cables pop a little bit more. I think right here you can, maybe it's more obvious in person. I'll try to point to it. I hope you guys can see it. This part right here is done using an actual cable technique, and then this is done using the mock cable technique that she has you do in the pattern. And I feel like these right here just pop out a little bit more than these. So I went with what was in the pattern. Surprise, turns out Petite Knit knows how to write a knitting pattern. So I think that's all I wanted to say about the swatch. But so far those have proved the most challenging. Like technically, that's the part that I keep messing up on. The rest of it I feel like is pretty easy breezy. I don't know if you can tell, I did do a mid-project block on this. My second mid-project block this month. I don't know who I am, but right before I joined actually it's probably easier if I hold it up this way that you can see. Right before I joined in the underarm, I did a block. So you can tell the difference, I think, with the mock cables a lot. It just looks a little more relaxed, a little less janky. And then the cables themselves relaxed a lot as well. I think the moss stitch looks pretty similar, but the feel of the texture is a lot different in the blocked versus the unblocked. It feels just a lot softer. It feels a lot more relaxed, a lot nicer, the blocked section versus the post like the unblocked section. But the reason that I did a mid-project block on this is, like I mentioned, this is for my mom, and I made her a chestnut sweater earlier in the year. I made us coordinating chestnut sweaters, and she loved it. She was like, please, both times that I've made her, I've met her a couple of things now, and every time she's like, please don't make it too tight. The woman hates negative ease with knitwear. She hates it, which is fine. That's her. She was like, please don't make it too tight. I don't want it to be tight at all. And I said, don't worry. I said, when she picked out the Moby sweater, I said, it's the same designer that made your turtleneck, so don't worry. And she was like, great. I don't know what I was thinking, because like not all of Petite Knits patterns have the same ease. So I was like, well, I made you a medium in the chestnut sweater. I'll make you a medium in the Moby sweater. And so I'm just like happily knitting on the medium. And then I measure right before I join in the round, because the size medium has you casting on no underarm stitches. And I was like, oh, should I just cast on some underarm stitches just to make sure? And I was like, no, be thorough, Allie. No law against being thorough, be thorough. So I measured across, and it was, the front panel was 43 centimeters. Let me check. Gotta be accurate. I can't be spewing lies. Yeah, 43 centimeters. And I knew it would relax with blocking. I wanted to see how much it would relax with blocking. So that's why I blocked it before I joined in the round. And after blocking it, it was 54 centimeters. So a body circumference of 108 centimeters is what it would have been, which for the size medium, the projected body circumference is 110 centimeters. So my gauge is like pretty good. I'm so proud of me. But I still wasn't sure that was going to be enough ease for her, so I just went ahead and cast on 8 stitches in each of the underarms. So I'm glad I did a mid-project block, because I did cast on some stitches. I'm kicking myself because I definitely should have just made a size large. It could have been the most oversized sweater in the world and she would have loved it, but if it has like the tiniest bit of negative ease, if it tugs a little bit, I know she's not gonna be that happy with it. So I should have made just a size large, but here we are. I'm not gonna undo it. I'm on a time crunch, and also this is a ton of work. I don't feel like I'm doing all of this work. So far, I feel like this has been a very well written pattern, with the exception of just not detailing the gauge. I will say, I know this is rated, this is for Petite Knits rating, this is a 5 out of 5 difficulty. And I think with that comes not a ton of hand holding, which I'm fine with. This is an all over cabled sweater. You don't have to hold my hand in the pattern, if that makes sense. I feel like, as with a lot of Petite Knit patterns, she gives you like just enough information to be able to do the pattern and not a ton of excess information, which is fine with me. I haven't struggled so far. I did struggle. It was me overthinking it, okay? It was me overthinking it. When joining in the round, basically there's 2 textured repeats. There's this cable and then the mop cable in the middle, and they repeat at different intervals. And when joining in the round, obviously there's short rows in the back, and there's like neck increases in the front, and you work the panels. And I was like, how am I going to get these to line up? Because I know they're supposed to line up, the front and the back. I was like, I know they're supposed to line up. How am I going to get these to line up? I was doing all sorts of math. I was doing like least common multiple, that kind of thing. I was like writing equations with X and Y. And I was like, before I was like, this pattern is written so well. I love it. And then I started losing my mind about how to get it to line up in the front and the back. And I'm like, this is so unclear. Why is this so unclear? I don't want to give away too much, but she tells you in the pattern, she says it. She says on the back, write down what row you end on. I just wrote down which row of each of the pattern repeats I was on. And then on the front, she goes, knit exactly 10 more rows than on the back. And for some reason, that was like really hard for me to understand. Like, this is why I'm saying it's on me, right? So then I'm like on Reddit. I'm on Ravelry. I have an email drafted to the Petite Knit support email. And it was like, at that point, it was like 11 p.m. It was at night. And I was like, wanting to join in the round before I went to bed. And then I was like, no, just go to bed, wake up with a fresh mind. And I woke up and I looked at it and I was like, oh, I just need to count. That's it. How many rows I worked on the back, count how many rows I have in the front, and then just knit 10 more rows than what was on the back. And that's truly all I did. And sure enough, the cable patterns lined up. I didn't need to do algebra. Petite Knit already did it for us. So that one's completely on me because it was spelled out very clearly and simply in the pattern, and I was overthinking it. So I did successfully join in the round, and then plus that gave me time to evaluate and do a mid-project block and then figure out all the things. So my plan moving forward with this is, as I'm sure you may or may not know, I usually when knitting any kind of garment with, well, truly any kind of garment with shoulders or anything, or sleeves, edging details, I like to work a bit on the body and then put it on a holder, work the sleeves and the neck, and then just finish out with how much yarn I have. So about here on the body, I have this much left, not a ton left of this skein. I think I'll join another one. This is my 4th out of 11, so I have 7 left. I'll work the 5th skein in the body, and then I'll put it on a holder. That should get me to here. That didn't probably make sense to you guys. And then I will work the sleeves and the neck and then come back to the body. This is another reason why I wanted to film this podcast now, is because I do not think I will have time to film another podcast before I give this to my mom. So I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the process before I finish this out, because this is my first all over cabled sweater. I don't think I have anything else to say about it. I think those were all my notes. I'm trying to keep a more detailed log on Ravelry. I find that when I'm having confusion with projects or I want to get ideas for a project, I'll search keywords in all of the Ravelry projects that exist for a certain pattern. And I find it really helpful when people have a ton of detailed notes taken about their project, almost kind of like it's a blog. So I've been trying to do that with this, and it's been fun. It's not a ton of work, but we'll see if it keeps up. I'm also excited to get this done, and then I can try it on and decide if I want to make one for myself at some point. I don't think I talked about this color, actually. This color that my mom picked out. I never would have picked it out for me or for her, but it's called limestone. And I think it comes through on camera, but it's this whitish gray with a green, like a very soft green. I called it Italian ice in my last video because it looks like the color of Italian ice to me. It's gorgeous. This is like greenish blue, white. It's gorgeous. I think it's a relatively new color from Knitting for Olive, ? Or I just glanced over it every time I looked on the website. But I literally sent her, I think I sent her 2 or 3 different yarns that could be used for her Moby Sweater. And she picked out Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino Limestone. I did try to branch out with the yarns, but she wanted Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in this color. So I said, okay, this is what you get. Gorgeous. Okay. Next up is my blouse #1. It's really coming along. This is a pattern by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I'm knitting this using Knitting for Olive Pure Silk in the color Copper Held Double. And I'm using, 4.5 millimeter needle? Yeah, 4.5 millimeter needles. I have both sleeves are done. The whole front is done. I have this much done on the body, and this is all the yarn I have left for it. This is about 61 grams, so a little over 1 skein. And I'm just gonna knit on the body until this runs out and call it a day. I think it'll end up being long enough because it's pretty cropped right now. So I'm hoping if I can just get, what is that? Like 6 or 7 centimeters, that'll be good. And then any more is just bonus. This is an absolute delight to knit. Compared to the Moby Sweater, which is just all like cables and kind of makes my wrist hurt. This is just all stockinette. It's truly mindless. I love this. I love the shaping so far. I tried it on. I tried it on before I took the body stitches off of the holder again, and I liked it. Sleeves were a little short. I'm hoping it blocks out. I'm hoping they like lengthen with blocking, but I don't want to try it on again because I don't want to put this back on a holder. And this cable is too small to fit over my bust. Let's see, some things I wanted to talk about. The bind off for the sleeves. I believe in the pattern she recommends just binding off loosely, and then at the end it says you can work an I-cord bind off. But I kind of felt like an I-cord bind off would look a little bulky with this. So what I did was I went through Ravelry and scoured patterns with pictures, and I found someone's pattern whose bind off I really, really liked. And luckily she linked the website that she used for her bind off, and I used it. The bind off is also linked in my project on Ravelry, but I'll link it below as well. It's just a website, no video or anything. But it is maybe like my favorite bind off I've ever used. I'll show it to you up close. This is it. And it's basically with your stitches on the needle, you knit two together through the back loop and slip that stitch back on your needle. And then knit that with the next one through the back loop and slip it back on your needle. And you just continue doing that. It's rolling a little bit, nothing too crazy. It's slightly, I would say it's slightly more stretchy than a regular bind off, but not crazy stretchy. It's not like gaping. I feel like it suits the pattern very well. I'm a huge fan of it so far. I love the way it looks. I think it's clean and sleek looking, but not bulky, which is what I was going for. So thank you to that person on Ravelry who took good pictures of their project and linked their bind off in the description. They are who inspired me to start leaving better notes on my Ravelry page. I will probably use this same bind off on the body. This counts as my current stash scrappy project because I only bought half of this yarn recently. The other half was from a project that I frogged that I did not love. So I'm working with two different dye lots. That's why I'm bringing this up. I'm working with two different dye lots, and to brag on myself that this is like my scrappy project. I'm working with two different dye lots here, and I'll include a picture because this yarn, I can't remember if I mentioned it earlier or not, but I'm holding this yarn double. That's what the pattern calls for. So it worked out well. I think I had 3 skeins of one dye lot and 4 of another. And so pretty much the entire body and most of this sleeve, one of the sleeves, is both dye lots held together. So you can't even tell that there's really a dye lot difference. And I thought I was being good and thorough about knowing which of each ball of each dye lot, like which was which, and which one I would run out of first. Basically, the entire yoke and top part of the shoulders is dye lots 1 and 2 held together. And then when I get here, this part right here is just, well, before, and I'll include a picture, it was just dye lot 2. And then I ran out of just dye lot 2 held together, and then I switched to just dye lot 1 held together. So it was a very stark difference. You could see this like band of darkness just in the sleeve here. And when I noticed it, I was like, well, I'm not gonna do anything about it. This is for me, I don't really care. And then I was looking at it and I was like, that's maybe like an hour or 2 worth of work that I would undo. And it would make such a difference. And that was worth it to me. So I unraveled it, and then I had just a teensy bit of dye lot 1 left. So I held dye lot 1 together with dye lot 2, and then worked the rest, worked until 1 was out. And now the rest of this sleeve and the rest of this body is just dye lot 2. But since it was a combination of dye lots up here, the transition between the 2 dye lots held together and just one of the dye lot held together is less noticeable than just going between dye lot 1 and dye lot 2. I think that makes sense. So all that to say, I didn't alternate skeins, no helical knitting, no real blending, just going between the 2 dye lots held together and then just one of the dye lot held double. I hope that made sense. I hope that also didn't take like 5 minutes to explain, because I feel like it was not that hard. I think that's all I wanted to say about this. I feel like I probably have only a couple of hours left of knitting on this. I feel like I'll finish it relatively soon, but I just need to get some work done on this Moby sweater. And that takes priority over my blouse #1. Even though I want to knit it, even though I want to have it done, the Moby sweater takes priority. And I will say, I feel like I've been a little discouraged, especially because I've been participating in WIP Wednesday over on Instagram, filming like updates to my WIPs every week. And I realized that I have not like had a finished object. I've had one finished object in the past like month and a half, which isn't necessarily like discouraging, but I just feel like I'm working on things that shouldn't be taking me this long, and they are, and I'm now getting ready to finish up some of them. All that to say, I really enjoyed working on a time crunch, I'm not gonna lie, because I feel like it's a doable time crunch, and then it's kind of nice to have like a little voice in my head, like, you need to get this done. Like, no time to dilly-dally. Because all I have now is just time to dilly-dally. Like, I have nothing to do. So it's kind of nice to have an end date to finish a project by, instead of just like, oh, I could knit on this if I want to, or I could do this. I think balance is nice. If I like, getting towards holidays, having too many deadlines is overwhelming, but it's kind of nice to have a deadline, is all I'm saying. I think that's it for blouse #1. My top sole, that's what's next. This is my top sole. It's a pattern by Mochi Knits. I'm using Surella yarn, the silk sock, in the color Cruel Summer from the Eras collection part 2. I didn't even say what size. I think I'm making the size medium of my blouse #1. No, it's definitely the size medium. I think I forgot to say that. Sorry. This size is custom because this pattern calls for a DK weight yarn, and I'm using a fingering weight yarn, so I had to do some gauge math and adjust the pattern to fit my own gauge. The reason that I sound really forlorn talking about it is that it's just like endless. I'm at the point now, I'm at the same point-ish in the project. I think the last time we talked, I had just joined in the round, and I've knit maybe like, that looks like what, like 15 centimeters? Oh no, it's not even in the round. I just joined the front and the back and the sides. Wow, that was incredible. 15.5 centimeters that I've knit of the body from the underarm down. I can't remember what, let me check. How much does she want me to knit? 44 centimeters from the shoulder is what it should be for my size. Okay, 39 from the shoulder. So I don't really have that much to do on this. I've been trying to knit like a row or two on it a day, and just like slowly pick away at it. This is just not enjoyable to knit on. I don't know what it is. I think it's that the stitches are so small and there's so many of them, and it's not in the round. And it's also just really slippery. I mean, it's silk. It's really slippery. I also, in my last video, was complaining about how it's really rolling in, like the finishing details. You just do them as you go. This is like a pseudo I-cord, and this is garter stitch, and they're rolling in. And a lot of people said that because this is silk, and I think this is silk and merino, and her sample is knit with linen, and the recommended yarn is linen. Linen is a bit more stiff, less prone to rolling. So people were saying that mine is not behaving like her sample photo because I'm not using the suggested yarn, which makes sense. And then I was going back through my summer, like my spring and summer knitting plans comments, and someone left that comment. So I was warned. I was warned and I was just like, it'll be fine. So we'll see. If it continues to roll after blocking and with wearing, I might add, someone in the comments suggested a crochet chain edge just to help it stick out a little bit, which I will do. Yes, this is a lot of work. My sentiments have not changed since the last video, where this is a lot of work and I hope that the result is worth it. And that's, I think, why I'm being so down about this, is I'm not sure the result is going to be worth it and it's going to be devastating. I'm excited about my blouse #1 because I've already done a try on and I really, really like it. So I kind of feel like the result is going to be worth it. So I have motivation to finish it and start wearing it. And I don't feel that with this one. It's kind of like a, what is that? That's a psych term. Where it's basically like I'm putting off finishing it, because if I never finish it, it's kind of like Schrodinger's cat. This is Schrodinger's summer top. Like if I never finish it, it's like 50% chance that it's going to be great and 50% chance that it's not going to be great, instead of knowing. I mean, I really don't have that much left to do on it. I'm also trying to keep one stashed scrappy project on the needles at a time. I have a lot of stash. It's not even stash. It's like leftover yarn. It's like 1, 2, 3 skein quantities, not really enough for any kind of garment. So I'm trying hard to use up a lot of my leftover yarn. I'm trying to have a project on the needles actively going at all times that is incorporating some leftover yarn. My blouse #1 counts as that right now because it was from a top that I didn't like and was never going to wear. It was just simply taking up space in my closet. All that to say, my blouse #1 is about to be done, obviously. And I know I'm not going to use, I think I still have about 50 grams left in addition to this. I'm not going to use all of this. All that to say, I'm hoping to make a little summer scarf or a bandana, a kerchief with the leftover of this yarn. And then I also want to make a little something for my friend that I went to the Eras tour with, using this same yarn. I think I'll have enough to get 2 tiny little accessories, like maybe a Sophie scarf or a pressed flowers kerchief out of these, one for me, one for her. That's a later problem. It obviously depends on how much yarn that I have left, but it does tie into future plans, and it does hold me accountable for actually using this up instead of just looking at it in my stash. In my notes, it says linen doesn't roll as much, and they tried to tell me that. I didn't listen. And then, do I even want to talk about this? I'll mention it briefly. Is it in here? Yeah. These are my custom socks. Ooh, big shake. Big stretch. You wanna come up here? You wanna come say hi? Hello. Hello. She's been very good with all the moving boxes. She's really been keeping her anxiety in check, and we're so proud of her. But these are my custom socks by Kate Atherley from her book, Custom Socks Knit to Fit Your Feet. This is the basic top-down sock using Knit Picks Felicini in the color Wagon Sofa, which is sadly a discontinued yarn. I think last time I just cast on the cuff, and I've gotten a lot done. I'm getting ready to work the heel flap. I'm about here. Getting ready to work the heel flap. I've pretty much just been working on these when I'm outside the house. I just take them with me wherever I go, and if I can get a couple of rows in when I'm out and about, I get a couple of rows in. There's truly nothing else to say about these. I'm still enjoying them. I just feel like, well, no, I think it's because I have a lot of WIPs right now. I have 4 WIPs, which I feel like I've definitely had this many before. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed with all of my WIPs. And I think it's because I have 3, oh, sorry, I bonked you. I think because I have 3 stockinette patterns going right now, I don't really feel like I need 3 stockinette patterns at once. I've become so lazy. What am I using? I think, what is this, 2.25 millimeters? Yeah, 2.25 millimeters. And then for my my top sole, I'm using 2.75 millimeter needles. Off my game. Yeah. yeah, nothing really else to say about these. I'm very excited to wear them because I love how this one fits, so I'm hoping I love how this one fits. And just like that, I'm a sock knitter. All right. Oh, that does bring me in, segues so nicely into my one singular acquisition that I have. I talked about this a little last time. I think was maybe just being delivered, but because I've been knitting on these so much out in the wild, the only thing that I ever take out of my like knitting project bag and put into my purse if I'm going out and I might knit on these is my measuring tape, because I always want to make sure, like, well, I don't want to go too far and it's just nice to have and just to whip out and measure. But I was like, I don't want to keep taking it and putting it back and forth because it's a small thing. It's not that hard to have a little measuring tape. So I bought a measuring tape keychain and it's so cute. This is my bag. This is like my little everyday purse. I love this purse. This is what I take with me everywhere. And my little hair clip, my little bag charm. This is my measuring tape. Isn't it so cute? It matches perfectly. This is it. And it just whips out. It's got centimeters on one side, inches on the other, and there's a little button. Oh. I'll link it below. It's pretty cheap. It's from Amazon. It probably won't last that long, but it'll still measure the same, even if the little thingy breaks. It's so cute. And it matches so perfectly. Anyways, I feel really cool with all my little bag charms and things. So yeah, now I can measure my socks wherever I go, or anything else. Those are all of my WIPs. I'm gonna knit while I talk about the media section. I'm gonna knit on my Moby Sweater. I only have 3 things that I wanna talk about. We need to talk about F1, and then I wanna talk about Bravo things. I wanna talk about the Valley and also Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So I'll start off with F1. Miami was last week, incredible race. Oscar Piastri. I think this might be his year, which I'm thrilled about. I'm so thrilled for him. I could not be happier. I feel like he has like world champion mentality. I hope it's his season. I would love nothing more than to see Oscar win the World Drivers Series. Max did good, even though he's a dad now. Very happy for him. I guess that relationship's something off about it. I think we all kind of feel the same way. Happy for him though, very happy for him. Oh yeah, Ollie Oakes, the Alpine team principal, resigned. And now like Flavio Briatore is the acting team principal. I don't know how that is like allowed to happen. I don't know why he's here. Alpine has been giving me like the biggest ick. I feel like Jack Doohan is gone, which is so unfair. It's so unfair. I am so tired. I am sick and tired. No, but really I am. I'm sick and tired of teams replacing their rookies after less than a season. I think it's so unfair. And I think Jack Doohan's great. I think he's a good driver, but he's had 6 races in Formula 1, 7 if you count like last season. Come on, guys, come on. I really feel like they need a season to get used to everything, the hype, and then I feel like Williams, what was it? Yeah, it was last year. They had Logan Sargent for a full season and he was not doing it. And they re-signed him because of the money probably, but they re-signed him and then halfway through the season, his second season, they were like, nah, this isn't it. And I feel like that it sucks. It sucks to see a driver leave mid-season. It's great for the drama, but it sucks to see a driver leave mid-season. It's at least like kind of understandable. Like you're not fitting in well with the team. You're not doing well. We decided not to re-sign you. So we might as well promote somebody else. See if there's someone else we can find. So it really sucks to think that Jack Doohan is maybe done after 6 races. That's incredibly unfair. Love Franco Colapinto, would love to see him full-time in F1, but like not like this. Like, come on. Also, Sir Lewis had an incredible week. Met Gala co-chair, incredible outfit. Also, being an absolute diva on the Ferrari radio. I'm so here for it. That was incredible entertainment. I love it. Yeah, poor Lewis, poor Charles, poor Ferrari. Sucks to be a Ferrari fan. My Williams boys, they did so good. I know there was some like drama with them, but like I really wanted Carlos. I really wanted Carlos to beat the Ferraris, but he did pretty good. He finished the race, both Williams in the points. So happy for them. My team did good. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say. Now I want to talk about some Bravo things. And then first and foremost, I need to get this out of the way before I forget. I'm almost caught up with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and then The Valley is like airing as we speak. I am gonna start a new Bravo show. I really like having it on in the background, and I like watching it on the stair stepper. So I kind of need a new Bravo show to start. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Any other Bravo girlies out there? Girly is like a gender neutral term in my opinion. So any Bravo girlies out there? Ones that I'm considering are Summer House, Real Housewives of New York, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and Real Housewives of Potomac. Those were the 4 that I was considering. Let me know if you have any other suggestions for Bravo shows. I've already watched Vanderpump Rules, but yeah. The Valley. I am halfway through season 4. No, episode 4. I'm halfway through episode 4. It's really dark. I feel like it's getting better now that Jax is like off screen, but still it's a little like too dark. It's just kind of like concerning that Kristen Doute is now the most like stable, reasonable person on a reality TV show. I think that says incredible things about her, incredibly good things about her, and incredibly bad things about her castmates. Oh my God. But I do love to see this growth from Kristen. She's doing incredible. Her and Luke seem great, stable, and happy. I'm happy for her. She's living her life. She's thriving. And I love watching her on TV. But the rest of it is just like dark. It's too dark. I talked about it last year also after the season finale, I think. Seeing like divorcing parents like being nasty to each other on live TV isn't fun, especially because they have kids and the kids are just going to have a record of it. And then Jax's behavior is just like, it's straight up concerning. I will keep watching it because it is, I mean, it's interesting. It's gotten less dark. The first 2 episodes had me like concerned that I was like, I feel like we shouldn't be watching this. This doesn't feel right. It's gotten better. So I'll continue to watch it, but it feels dark. Let me know if you agree. And then I also realized last night I was watching the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. My fiance goes to bed pretty early. He has to get up pretty early for work. And then obviously I don't work right now. I don't have anything to do. So I was staying up a little later watching Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I realized that I'm like almost caught up. Like I watched the season 5 finale last night and I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to talk while doing these mock cables, but I think I'm making it work. Yeah, I watched the season 5 finale last night and I just have the reunion and then I'm caught up with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which is wild. The last dinner of the show, like what the show ends on, when they're in, where are they? Are they in Puerto Vallarta? And Heather is like, let's pull up the meanest text you've sent about somebody at this table, hand it to them, and they're gonna read it out loud. To be fair, it was a lot less of a train wreck than I expected. And I think it was a good exercise. Honestly, at first I was like, this is the worst idea I've ever heard. Then I was like, wait, maybe this isn't a bad idea, because half the time when people argue on Real Housewives, on truly any Bravo franchise, it's like half of the argument is about what was said and how it was hurtful. And the other half is like, oh, I didn't say exactly that. Who told you? That's who I'm going to be mad at. Like all of this stuff. I didn't say that. You're lying. So I think that was an interesting exercise in the sense that like, I'm presenting this to you. I wrote this. And that kind of, it eliminates that part of the argument. I thought it was interesting. That's all I needed to say about it. I actually have a lot more to say about it, but I don't want this to go on for too long. And I know not that many people listen to this part anyways. So I'll end it here. So that is it. That is all that I have today. Next episode, I'll try to do a Q&A, so let me know any questions that you have. And next time you see me, I will be, well, not like fully moved into, but like I'll be living in my new apartment in New York, which is very exciting. Yeah, as always, let me know what you're knitting on. Let me know what you're reading or watching. Let me know what Bravo thing I should start next. Would love some input, some advice. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.